Good morning, friends, and welcome to My Left Ear. I'm just getting comfortable here. I'm sitting on pillows. It is April 15th. It is video 33, and it is called The Drums Are Beating, because they are. My Left Ear is called My Left Ear because I get information through my left ear often. So this site is about political commentary, and it's political commentary with my psychic spin on things, and sometimes it is predictions. And so I have two goals here today. I want to try to reduce the amount that I say and I want to reduce the amount that I say so. And now that I've outed myself, let's see how we do. Forgive me. Let's start this one by just saying, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Fill in the blank and keep using that. This is for entertainment purposes only, because we are talking about some serious things sometimes, maybe all the time. And I call myself a change agent. I do psychic coaching and therapeutic hypnosis. I've been doing that for 20 years. I help people change things, overcome things, solve problems. And then I also, because I am a writer, I help people with writing issues and performance. Here we go. We're beginning. Deep breath, everyone. Okay, I want to let you all know that I discovered PBS has a new special documentary on Frontline all about the insurrection. And I thought you guys might want to know about it. I can't wait to see it. It's brand new. And they repeat things over and over on PBS, and they're really good. There should be a lot of great information there. So here we start. My Left Ear, MLE, wants you to know that New York City is coming for the former guy, 45. I try to stay away from using his name. If I have to, I have to. But he's the former guy, or he's 45. Now, the District Attorney of New York County, also known as Manhattan District Attorney, Cy Vance, as well as Letitia James, New York Attorney General, they're running parallel investigations that I think it's confused people a little bit. And both are allegedly reporting into looking at the possibility that Alan Weisselberg, who's been the family money guy since Fred Trump, and his son, having received untaxed benefits from the Trump organization, such as an example, use of the company apartments, gifting people apartments. And those are supposed to be documented and reported, but they are not. And so Jennifer Weisselberg, who is his former daughter-in-law, and she was involved, said about the Trump organization, they want you to do crimes and not talk about it. And don't leave them. It's very controlling, is what she said. And she's providing them with a lot of information. They just carried out a ton of boxes and documents from Mr. Weisselberg's office. He's in trouble for his loyalty. So, there I said so. Let me just look here. Duncan Levin, Jennifer Weisselberg's attorney, said, "It was my distinct impression that things are heating up and that this investigation is of intense focus for prosecutors at the DA's office." MLE is pretty darn sure that the charges against Trump, the Trump organization, and even Weisselberg will be coming. But Weisselberg, even with his fealty, may very well, talk. He's an old man, and God knows what he's facing. So I do want to say something about this issue. When I watch CNN, MSNBC, and they have these people that they've paid that are really experienced come on and talk about the future 2024, I rarely hear any of these very intelligent people. They're like ignoring Trump's legal problems that are coming up. I mean, massive, numerous, gargantuan legal issues for Donald Trump. And I think it keeps unfolding. But why don't, well, I guess they feel like I have to make a forecast. And, well, if he runs in 2020, I think everybody kind of knows he's not going to run in 20. I think they kind of know. I think it's like a dirty little secret. But they really annoy me because they come up with these scenarios that kind of create fear in people like you and I. And they're saying, they're not talking about, but he might lose all his property and his organizations, and he may end up in prison. They just don't go there. So I think they're in denial a little bit. All right, here we are moving on. And this is the part where I would say so, but I'm not going to say so. Anyway, my left ear wants to talk about Matt Gaetz. As you know, the congressman, Matt Gaetz, is in big trouble. And 45 will not help him or speak with him, as reported. Gaetz has been stupid enough to think that they are friends and that his devotion will be rewarded, and that's a big no. My left ear is pretty darn sure that even when they were in the administration together, it was Trump and it was all his boys and it was Matt and it was Jim Jordan, that, Gaetz thought they were friends and he would be rewarded. So here we go. Matt Gaetz' party buddy, a guy named Greenberg, I'm just going to call him Greenberg, tax collector in Florida, is in jail and he's flipping. Now, he has like 33 charges against him. They're just wide ranging, all kinds of charges. And one of them is sex trafficking. Maybe underage female. I think that is true, but I don't want to put that out there unless I know for sure. He's trying to reduce his time. So he's answering questions about his old party buddy, Matt Gaetz, and he's letting the feds know a lot of information. Now, the feds, I don't know if you heard this, in December, they seized Matt's phone and the phone of his ex-girlfriend. In addition, 2 women who participated in sex parties in Florida with Gaetz and Greenberg and GOP-related officials behind gated community doors. Those 2 women, they're young, are talking to the feds. They are saying that at these parties, there was sex, there was drugs, there were very important men there, and there were payments either on site or the day after. I believe that the feds have the young woman who was 17 at the time. Nobody knows who she is. She's now 20. So they're going to get that information, or they already have the information, whether these guys were with underage girls. My left ear is going to tell you, yes, we think yes, that's going to be the outcome. But it's not just about the underage women. Let me just throw out a few things here. It's about promoting shadow candidates in Florida to weaken the Democrat that is running, or the Democrats that are running. That's not legal. Illegal paying and transporting sex workers. Okay. Illegal sex with a 17-year-old or younger. Paying her and transporting her to a location. illegal. Obtaining IDs off the internet from the DMV in Florida illegally to give to young women that Greenberg was hiring. And he did this as tax collector because he had access to that computer system, so he could print out IDs for underage girls or whatever, these girls. Now, there is a report that someone spotted Greenberg and Gates in Greenberg's office looking at the IDs. To be continued. It's possible that a grand jury may be involved already, but my left ear doesn't think so yet. There will be. My left ear expects more politicians and recognizable names to be called out in this scandal. Brace yourself for crazy. And here's the last comment. Gates proposed to a lovely young woman, 25-year-old woman, with a name it just sounds like a stripper, but her name is Ginger Lucky. She does not look like a stripper. There I said, she's going to be heartbroken, people. We actually feel her parents in a panic. They're very worried about their daughter engaged to this guy. They're not in love with him, so they have perspective that she doesn't have, because there's nothing. Just think back on your life. Some of you might be really young, but just think back. There's nothing like falling in love when you're 25. It is profound. And you think it's the only one, and it's the only time it'll ever happen in your life. So, in addition, and I said this before, I actually believe that Matt Gaetz is such a bad human being, such a criminal and sociopath, that he proposed to this lovely young woman when he found out he was in trouble. So that he goes out there now and he goes, well, before I was engaged, I definitely wasn't a monk. So as if getting engaged makes him okay, it legitimizes him. So I want to say that I feel for Ginger Lucky. She might, she's probably a very conservative Republican. I'm just looking at her as a young human being that's going to be crushed. I'm asking my left ear when and if she will cut bait. I'm thinking the beginning of a trial or something. We'll see. I'm going to ask about that. The police. Now we're moving on to the police. There needs to be a tremendous amount of money devoted to all the police departments all over the United States, because it's very clear there is something wrong with training, and there is something wrong with the hierarchical, the supervisors, whatever that hierarchy is, something's wrong. A guy like Chauvin had like 18 complaints, things against him, and that never got properly handled until he murdered George Floyd. So aside from the training, when a man or a woman wants to join the police force, they need to be vetted as if it's a colonoscopy, okay? They need to be vetted for, they need a psych evaluation. They need to find out about any history of racism. That needs to be evaluated. Personality disorders need to be evaluated. Anger issues need to be evaluated, plus the intense training. Then more training every 6 months. Right now, I'm going to say something that's pretty depressing, and I hope I'm wrong. This is when I hope I'm wrong, or my left ear is wrong. I don't see the government coming up with this kind of money anytime soon. but boy, it's really needed. And we're reaching with the police, and this issue of identifying Black men is hitting critical mass. I'm doubting about the funding will be available. And I'm sure you saw this Army medic who was pulled over, but he put on his blinkers so he could find a gas station with light. And then he was assaulted, guns were pointed at him, he was sprayed, and he was polite, and he kept saying, I don't know what this is about. Why are you doing this? Well, he lobbied a big fat lawsuit immediately. And one of the offending policemen with the gun has been fired. And that policeman made this incredible comment to this guy, like something, he didn't call him boy, but he said something like, you better blah, 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 or you're gonna end up like electrocution, which is alluding to the electric chair. How can a trained policeman, how can that come out of their mouth? Because they're racist and they weren't vetted. So the other thing about the police, we must eradicate the Police Bill of Rights. There is a Police Bill of Rights. And I'm just going to read this to you because it's better than I could explain it. It says, the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights is intended to protect American law enforcement personnel from investigation and prosecution arising from conduct during official performance of their duties and provides them with privileges based on due process, additional to those normally processed. So this is bad. They shouldn't have this protection. It may mean that's why they are bolder. We'll see. I'm going to go back and just say my left ear believes Derek Chauvin will be found guilty. Now, whether it's third-degree manslaughter, we just don't know yet. I'm waiting for that information. And I also believe the jury will be out for a long deliberation. It won't be a fast one. We have George Floyd and Daunte Wright's families meeting in Minnesota on the street, cold, rainy, and they cried and they hugged and they spoke. And it was just devastating. Devastating. The officer who shot Daunte was handcuffed this morning. That was a female who'd been in the police department for 26 years, and she was brought into custody and she was charged with manslaughter. They stopped Daunte because he had expired plates and there was a warrant. His warrants were sent to the wrong address. So he didn't show up because the warrants were sent to the wrong address. It's a big tragedy. The vaccines, we're going on to the vaccines now. You know that there's a pause on Johnson & Johnson. I told you all, I don't expect you to remember this stuff, weeks ago, there's going to be a surge. I think 3 weeks ago I said it. There's going to be a surge, and there's other strains of viruses. And I said one other thing, prepare that you're going to need a booster shot. Now they're talking this week about booster shots. So there you go. I'm just sharing this with you. Johnson & Johnson, six adults out of 7 million people who got shots got blood clots. Now, I'm not minimizing that, but I want to put it in perspective that if any of you were young enough to take birth control pills, the chances of blood clots from birth control pills is much higher, like 20%. The chances of getting blood clots from having COVID are much higher than Johnson & Johnson. It is believed that Johnson & Johnson is taking this pause to be extra careful and cautious. It's good that they're doing it. It's very unfortunate because there's a certain number of people that are very anti-vax, and they're going to take this pause and they're going to scare people more, and they're going to make it much harder. So there continues to be resistance from a population that don't want these vaccinations, and it's going to get in the way. I'm fully vaccinated, ta-da, and I wear a mask, and I wash my hands, and I keep a distance. I'm really good. I'm just proceeding like that, and I recommend that everybody does that. But this vaccine issue, caused by Donald Trump and his crazy, stupid influence, is causing a split in society. So people like you and I that are doing the responsible thing, getting the vaccine, all of that, are still going to be, what? Influenced, controlled by the anti-vaxxers. It's really possible that people will be, anti-vaxxers will begin losing privileges. They'll need an ID badge for sporting events. They'll need an ID badge for concerts, for travel. And people who got vaccinated, like me, will have an ID card and will have all access. This could happen, and this could be an uproar. Stay tuned. Voting rights, something really positive. Didn't solve the problem, but it's really cool. Movie star Will Smith and his entire production company of a movie called Emancipation has pulled out of Georgia. Boom. They want no part of this voter suppression. Gives us the idea that more production will move out of Georgia. More. It's building. The list is building. The corporations that are against this suppression. But in the meantime, Arkansas just passed something too. We're in this big fight, but this is what celebrities can do. Just like I told you, George Clooney, who's brilliant, is producing a documentary about the Jim Jordan wrestling sexual scandal. Boom. This is just fabulous. This is powerful. Moving on now. 2024, my left ear wants to assure you once again, the former guy is not running. He won't be running. But they're going to proceed kind of like he is, because money can come in. Lots and lots of money can come in. Nikki Haley, who's been flapping her mouth on Twitter and so on and so forth, who I personally can't stand. I think she's a liar. She's a phony. I don't think she's that bright, but she got lucky. She got in. She's flapping her mouth right now. And she's, wants to run for president, but she says, no, if Donald Trump runs, I won't, but we'll have a conversation. That's if he's willing to have a conversation with her. So I love that. We'll have a conversation. Really, Nikki, let us know when you have that conversation. Nikki Haley knows some stuff. I want to say shit, but I'm going to say shit. She knows some shit. She resigned from the UN the day after Adnan Khashoggi was slaughtered. She knows stuff. She will never be president. I hope she's brought up and asked questions to the grand jury where she cannot lie. And Cruz and Hawley will also never be president. I'm waiting for them to get investigated. We think it's going on. It's just slow. But yeah, I think they're going to be investigated. Boner is officially getting investigated right now. So they're getting into Congress and the Senate and who is involved in this insurrection. It just takes time. There are new inspector generals being appointed. And I just want to describe to you what the IGs do. They investigate alleged violations of criminal and civil laws by the Department of Justice employees, and also audits and inspections in the DOJ program. The DOJ is appointed by the president, subject to Senate confirmation, and reports to the Attorney General, which is Merrick. And they're getting out the IGs that were placed by 45, and Biden is choosing all new IGs. That means investigations won't be blunted. They will move forward now. If you recall, IGs kept getting relocated or fired every time they got close to investigating Trump or a Trump associate. Barr just kept firing them. It was outrageous. Now, that's not going to happen now. And what Joe Biden, I believe, is doing, he is systematically replacing, reducing, eliminating 45 era people and positions. That's what's going on. Afghanistan, I'm going to admit to you that I don't know enough about foreign policy to get into this. But I do know that I really trust Joe Biden. And he didn't make this on his own. He has people he consults. And it is, for some generals and experts, controversial. Some experts think it's a poor choice. Some have said the situation in Afghanistan is intractable. But I'll tell you what, Barack Obama just praised Joe Biden's decision to withdraw, and that means something to me. I support him. And as I've said before, as much as I really am fond of Joe Biden and have faith in him, I know that all presidents make mistakes and all presidents will disappoint at some juncture. I just know that. But I know the essential Joe Biden, and it's all good. In fact, Joe Biden is so good that the GOP is irritated by it because they can't get traction to go after him. How frustrating is that? Moving on to the issue of propaganda, and we're winding it up now, getting close. Fox is the culprit. Fox is part of what is destroying the entire United States. And Rupert Murdoch, who's 95 years old? I don't know, he's really, really old. He's gonna go soon. Fox News basically claimed that both Dominion and a company called Smartmatic flipped votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. And they've been yelling about it and screaming about it. So both Dominion and Smartmatic have launched a series of defamation lawsuits against individuals and groups who spread this election fraud conspiracy about 2020. Smartmatic filed a $2.7 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox News and some of the players, personalities, and Dominion filed $1.6 billion. And then people got hit like Maria Bartiromo, Janine Pirro, who I call a heartbeat, Lou Dobbs, Rudy Giuliani, and Sidney Powell are all under fire. The lawsuits that are this large are going to help the issue of propaganda. It won't solve it, but it's the beginning. You know, Morris Dees was an attorney, and he really crippled the Ku Klux Klan by taking away their property. So it's often about money, how you hurt people and take away their power. You're probably wondering, Giuliani's going to surface, but there's a chance he's not well, but he's also under advice to keep his mouth shut because he's in just a boatload of trouble. We'll catch up with him. So more to be discussed, and we are coming to the quotes. Mel Robbins, I don't know if you know who Mel Robbins is. She's modern, she's with us. She had a nice TV show, daytime TV show before COVID that got interrupted. She's a personal coach and she's full of wisdom and she's been through hell and she's written books and I like her. I don't know her, but I really like Mel Robbins. So she's just very straightforward. This woman cuts to it. It's not gooey, fairy, lovely, soft. She cuts right to it. She says, "No one will give you the life you dream about. Not me, not your parents, not your friends, not your spouse. Your dreams are your responsibility. Go create them." She gets right to it. Your dreams are your responsibility. Go create them. Thank you, Mel Robbins. Now, this is by C.S. Lewis, author. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Setting up this YouTube was a new goal, and I will just keep doing that, you know, until they carry me out and with a sheet over me. I'm never stopping, and you shouldn't either. It keeps you young. And this was just on Twitter yesterday, and it took my breath away. It's by the cousin of Emmett Till, who was hung. Young black man. If you don't know about Emmett Till, look up Emmett Till. But this is by Emmett Till's cousin. It's very relevant and it's so simple. He wrote, "The past is not the past until justice is served." And of course, Glenn Kirshner would love that. He might have said it himself. The insurrection is not in the past until justice is served. Trump's illegality is not in the past until justice is served. Gates, all of them. So Emmett Till's cousin really came up with something profound. I want to ask you something now that we're at the end and I wouldn't be wasting people's time at the beginning. I'm thinking of doing a video in a few days where I literally talk about my psychic coaching, what it's like, what it entails, what's it about, because I don't call it reading, which I think brings up questions for people. It's a little mysterious. And if you think you'd find that interesting, just let me know. Like, yeah, Carrie, do it. I'd really love to hear what you have to say. I do have that one sheet that I will email people, but I thought maybe they want to hear me talking about it. Because on the odd moment I make a video on hypnotherapy or writing or good evidence, people seem to like it. I don't get as much traffic, but enough, and people seem to like it. And sometimes politics is just, can we take a break for a day? So let me know if you'd like me to talk about the psychic coaching and maybe tell a few stories. All right. Just keep looking for good evidence, creating good evidence. Talk to yourself in a very positive way. It all gets done. It all works out. I'm up for this. I can do this. Just do that. It's good to see you again. Thank you for your patience. It's been crazy around here, but I'm okay. And lastly, just the old, make peace, make memories. Bye-bye. Good to see ya.